Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and it looks like we have some news regarding Total War Warhammer 3. And here I was thinking it was going to be all Pharaoh all the time, but there was an interview with Rich Aldridge and Mark Sinclair on the website known as videogames.si.com. Never heard of this place before, but there's a little bit of information, so yeah, let's talk about this. And here I thought I was going to actually have a day off. Weird thing, right? But, yeah, let's jump. So we're not going to be going over the whole interview, we're just going to go over the main parts, mostly because there is a lot of just general chatting, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not feeling great right now, so I do want to have a little bit of rest, but we will talk about their plans for Immortal Empires first, which is, we just want to take it even further and do even more with it. Aldridge says, Immortal Empires, as much as it can, almost feel like a culmination of things. It also feels like a beginning as well to us. We finally got that map that we would have loved to have done originally. Okay, so, which was just way too big with too much stuff on it, but now we got it. So what mad ideas can we come up with, and what stuff can we put into it? So it's quite refreshing at the same time. Sinclair too calls it a foundation and says, we've laid out the borders of our sandbox and now we just need to put more sand in it. Both explain that the team has quite a bit of leeway and flexibility now, having learned over the years what their players expect and how far they can push Games Workshop to expand the boundaries it's set for them in terms of creativity and lore. We get to put special colored sand in now, Aldridge laughs. The game director tells me that the team has plans for at least 3 or 4 more years of support thanks to the immense depths of the Warhammer Fantasy IP. A setting that shouldn't have been forgotten has been resurrected from the dead by Games Workshop and will be expanded over the coming years, which may open even more possibilities for the Total War team. Never say never, or a variation thereof, isn't one of Aldridge's favorite sentences when responding to questions about the future for nothing. The truth is, things behind the scenes sometimes develop into completely unexpected directions, suddenly presenting opportunities thought impossible before. That's how you get a Grand Cafe, which Sinclair says no one would have ever thought of making back in Warhammer 1. Games Workshop also suggests certain characters from time to time, the most recent example being Harold Hammerstorm, which was released as a free legendary hero to celebrate the 40 years of... okay, we got that. So 3 to 4 years... Currently, they've got plan of support, which that would take us to 2027. Kind of makes sense. Yeah, I mean, this sounds good. And the fact is, they've also said it out there, you know, since Warhammer Fantasy is coming back with Warhammer the Old World, there is a chance that this could be expanded upon, which makes sense, as Total War Warhammer could be, if not is, going to be the best marketing tool for Warhammer the Old World, fancy new units and so on. So I kind of like what I'm hearing here. Still, 3 to 4 years if we're getting 3 DLCs a year, it's not too bad. It's about 9 to 12 DLCs as from next year onwards. Well, with this year included, it would be 14 DLCs. I would hope for more if Old World does become popular. You never know, obviously, but this is a big thing. Okay, so this section talks about the possibility of Nippon, Ind, and Koresh, which may not be realistic now, but who can say what happens in the next 2 or 3 years. This is something that I say often myself, because Warhammer the Old World is likely this year, and things can change. So this is one thing that Aldridge actually says. At the moment, those areas aren't to be used, or at least maybe not the way that people hope and think. So those areas are likely going to be opened up for minor factions, and that's something that a lot of people have been expecting anyway, mostly because, well, yeah, you know, everything's feeling a bit bloated. We get the T'Challa, the denied one, in the possible hypothetical High Elf DLC. Yeah, we can expect her there, because it'll be a different location for a Sinesh character, and they need to open up those areas for minor factions anyway. But keep in mind that Rich Aldridge says, at the moment, things do change. The same thing that's been said about Cafe. During Warhammer 1's period, that wasn't the case, but things do change as development goes around. So that's a good thing anyway. Like I said, I wouldn't be expecting Nippon, Ind, and Koresh anytime soon anyway, in the hypothetical that they does happen, mostly because, well, yeah, they're going to do another race next. It's going to have to be Dogs of War, right? As that was literally the last official army book that we've got waiting for us. So, I mean, yeah. It is very curious, though, that they were able to, like, at least talk about Ind, Koresh, and Nippon. This is something very important, because, and you guys know this, at certain points, we're not allowed to ask for future stuff or possible future stuff, and this is one of those things. So it's kind of weird. This next section is actually really interesting. We're going to go paragraph by paragraph. So they're talking about why we now have 3 races featured in Lord packs. And they say here, another reason this specific type of DLC was chosen is that it would allow the team to catch up more efficiently, fixing all the bugs, reworking existing mechanics that might not have aged very well or been totally overshadowed by newer content. The game director adds, we hear what everyone is asking about, we're trying to work our way through it systematically. So they're trying to be as quick as possible. I guess they know that they've got a limited amount of time at the very moment. And they said in a previous paragraph that it was basically not everyone's favorite characters were getting in, so this makes sure that more characters get in. Which is, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I kind of like the idea. The next thing is actually something quite interesting. The new DLC will put players into different circumstances with different goals that we had in the earlier games. Aldridge describes. He also says that all plans at the moment have Immortal Empires as well as Realms of Chaos. Okay. In mind, and will add content to both experiences. This doesn't seem to constrict the team in a creative sense, as it always finds reasons for certain characters to show up in places you might not expect them to. At the moment, again, is said. So you never know for future DLCs, if they do have plans for more, where we could potentially get Immortal Empire specific DLC, something that I know a few others have been asking for, as there are certain characters that just wouldn't make sense in Grand Cafe, for example, or in the Mountains of Morn, the Darklands, so it would make sense to push them up there. Obviously things could change, and you never know, they could just stay doing with both, but hey, it could open up some big potential and not have to have a lore writer sit down and go, yeah, this would make sense because of this, because they need to actually ask Games Workshop, hey, could this character theoretically be there? Then they'd have to write an idea as to why. Sometimes just going in the sandbox experience and having a little bit of a narrative would work well, kind of like the Tomb Kings do. You could play them in Immortal Empires and you still get a little bit of their narrative. So this interview was actually done prior to the release of 3.1, which was quite a while ago, it seems. 2 weeks prior to that, and 3.1 came out, 3 weeks ago? But Creative Assembly have doubled down on this, saying that they want to open up communication more, especially regards to reworks and so on. They want to hear what the fans want. And yeah, that's a good thing. Obviously, there's a lot of things that people want, especially for, say, for example, the dwarfs, who really need some help, or Nurgle, unfortunately. But yeah, no, this is good, obviously. At the end of the day, if they do it, if they actually prove that they are genuine in this and they ask people, then that would be a good thing. But, and I'm not just trying to be negative here, saying it is different to actually doing it, of course. There's a lot of back and forth of what was already achieved. They've actually talked a lot about the Chaos Dwarfs here, which is why I've not mentioned that, because it's been a while since we've had them. But Shadows of Change, which contains new toys for Tzeentch, Kislev, and Grand Cafe, is the first DLC listed on the roadmap with a summer 23 release, and it can't be that far off. You'd think they'd be running out of material at this point, but Aldridge explains there's loads more content we haven't explored yet across all different army books, across some of the supplementary rulebooks or novels. Interesting, okay. I mean, we've already had some stuff regarding supplements and novels, but I wonder what else they can go for it. Noblar Hordes. Yeah, Noblar Hordes, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, let's continue. We do go digging quite deep and asking Games Workshop, are we allowed to? Does this seem cool? So yeah, expect some good things. And the question that was given by the interviewer was, what good things would those be? Just asking for a friend. Nothing beats a monster. Oh, interesting. I mean, there's a lot of big monsters that we could expect. But yeah, let's continue. Sinclair says that Shadows of Change will have something for everyone, with a huge amount of content and hopefully some exciting new ways to play the game. People love monsters, Aldridge says, as much as elves shooting magical bows, and things are quite fancy. Okay. Nothing beats a monster. We can also expect Legendary Lords with some new flashy things to play with. All these new packs diversify things a lot according to him, and he's very excited to hear the community thoughts on the new formula. Thrones of Decay, the new DLC after Shadows of Change, will build on that foundation as well as incorporate any learnings that occur. That pack might be a little bit more legacy focused than Shadows of Change, focusing on Nurgle, the Empire, and the Dwarves, but is one better than the other? No. They've both got their big ticket items, they've both got fancy new mechanics, they've both got larger than life and fan favorite characters. I think they're going to be equally fun. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people are expecting some really cool stuff for Kislev, a lot of really cool stuff for like Nurgle. I just want content. You guys just want content. I hope it's like interesting stuff, and that's my main thing. Most importantly, that it's consistent and doesn't break on a release. That's the big one. And yeah, that's pretty much it, barring the fact that they got to ask a question about future content, which, spoiler alert, creators can't do that when we do interviews, which, yeah, kind of fun. However, the interviewer was able to ask about a certain man-sized maggot, which would be Tamurkhan, and the response was literally, well, I think you could be excited to see something like that in the future. So yeah, Tamurkhan confirmed, which was kind of expected because, I mean, he's one of the most unique Nurgle characters. I'm assuming he's going to be for Thrones of Decay, seeing as Thrones of Decay, Thrones of Chaos. I mean, it kind of links up. I'm pretty excited for Tamurkhan, in all honesty. It's a character that I'm still too intimidated to paint up properly. I really should do it at some point. But yeah, this is quite exciting. I can't wait to see what else is coming. All in all, I'm pretty excited the fact that we do know we've got 3 to 4 years of content for now. You never know again for the future. I'm really hoping, and this isn't really much of a CA thing, well, it is really, but I really think that Games Workshop should look at Total War Warhammer 3 as a way to promote Old World also. New models come out for Old World, DLC comes for Warhammer 3, even for like years to come, and that would be great cross-promotion for both fronts, to be honest. You never know if they're already thinking about that possibility, of those talks have been had. But, yeah, you never know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. This, at least, has been the first bit of news that we've had in a while since Warhammer 3 had patch 3.1, and, yeah, everything went to shit. Yeah. I'll see you all soon, and have a good day. Well, evening, afternoon. You know, it's late here.